Namaste, everyone, and welcome to the today's today Wednesday Anchor the Light meditation. So, before we start, let's ask for a blessing, shall we? To the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, holy masters, to all the saints of all traditions, archangels, holy angels, spiritual helpers, personally to my teacher, Master Twakok Sui Mahaguji Mailing, we thank you for divine light, divine love. Thank you for guidance, help, healing, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith, and so it is. All right, so here we are. And before we do our meditation, I just want to bring something up to you, which is an ancient teaching, which is obvious, but not so obvious. And Confucius said, we have two lives. And the second one begins when we realize we only have one. You go, sounds like a riddle to me, right? What do you mean by two lives? When you say two lives, we're talking about the inner life and the outer life, right? So that's why the image we use is symbolic. And just show it to you again if you're in the other media. It's a lotus flower, and that lotus flower, the way the image was taken, is you have the lotus flower like this, and then there's one below it, which is actually a reflection on the water. So when we say inner life and outer life, first of all, when I said two lives, some of you go, yeah, this guy is a regular guy. He works at a job. He has a family, but he's actually I don't know, CIA spy or some secret James Bond guy, right? No, that's not what I meant by that's not what we meant by two lives. When we say two lives, we're talking about your inner life and outer life, and all of us do that. The question is, are you understanding that these two lives are actually one? What does that mean? You see, it all goes back to understanding what the Buddha taught. Everybody looks at the Buddha and says, oh, you're God. And, not everybody, but at the time people started to worship him. And what did he say? Oh, do not worship me. I'm not God. I'm awakened. Okay? Now, let me shut this thing up. I don't know why people are calling when I'm busy. Okay. So, what does it mean by being asleep? Let's start there, and then we'll connect it to inner and outer life. You already know you are a spiritual self, a soul, on an earthly journey. Then you have your physical body, your emotional astral body, your mental body as your tools. We used that the other day. It's like having a hammer, a chisel, I don't know, and what are the tools people use? A screwdriver. Okay? These are the tools. So as you use these tools, you get feedback. The data from all these tools, like you're trying to screw something in, oh, it's too tight, too loose. You're trying to hammer something in, oh yeah, it's taking a long time, you get feedback, yeah, it's not going through. Or chisel, you're trying to, it's not breaking through. For example, that feedback you get is basically integrated together as sensations. These sensations are thoughts, feelings, and feedback from the physical body. Now, for most people, that's how they define their life. Whatever I see, I feel, I touch, you put it all together, oh, that's my day. Yeah, somebody pissed me off. Oh, somebody made me happy. Or I had good thoughts. I was watching this movie. Man, that made me think. So for them, all that data from the thinking machine, thinking tool, feeling tool, and let's say the physical body was really loose or they have pain, whatever that data is from that day, they sum it together to go, yeah, yesterday was interesting. Today was interesting. It was tough. I had this pain, that pain, or man, today was great. So you add those up day after day after day. They say, oh yeah, last week was good or bad. Oh, last month was good or bad. Extend that 2 months, 2 years, 10 years, decades, whatever. They go, yeah, man, that was a tough 10 years. Oh, that was a good 10 years, whatever. So their definition of their life is based on that data. Make sense? That is the outer life. That's probably what the general population experiences every day. Now, what is the inner life? The inner life is very, how do you call this? Very seldomly um, acknowledged by most people. For them, that's their, oh, that's the time when I'm at peace. Or during meditation, I was flying. Some of you were just talking to me about that yesterday. You're flying. Yeah, I close my eyes, I'm flying with the angels, or you're dreaming, you're going somewhere, or here's another one. As you're looking at your external or outer life, you start to observe. Ah, that's interesting. Every time I'm with this person, I'm filled with love. Every time I'm with this person, they piss me off or get me upset. Or every time I do this, you start observing. And that part of you that is observing, you sum it up over a period of time, that's your inner life. Your inner life is essentially you, the spiritual soul, the spiritual self, the soul, being able to observe. This is me, the real I, and everything is happening outside. So that outer life and this inner life seem separate. However, the secret in all your spiritual practices, and this can sum up with whatever your practice is, I don't care, whatever your practice is, it all goes back to the same conclusion. You might as well make a note of this. You know what it is? It's when you, the spiritual self, the soul, realize the outer life is actually simply an expression of your inner life. And the two lives are actually one. I'll give you a few seconds to absorb that. When you start living a life based on the inside, your inner self, observing and responding, that is the one life. That is what the Buddha called being awake. That's why most people are asleep. That's why they're in misery. Yeah, but you don't understand what's going through your life. Look, again, let me do this again for who knows how many times. Whatever is happening, you lost your job, you got a better job, you got married, you have children, you have somebody died on you, whatever. All these things are happening outside of the self, and the self observing it. Are you with me so far? And how it responds to that outside determines if you're happy or you're miserable. It's the response. That is the key. So that's why I'll talk about this next weekend in the story of a woman whose son died. I mean, could you imagine how terrible that is? A woman's son died, and she went to the Lord Buddha and says, "Could you please resurrect my son?" He didn't use the word resurrect, bring him back or something. Who knows what language they used at that time? The Lord Buddha said, "Yes, sure, I will do it. But you have to do one thing first. I want you to go to every household in this city. If you can find a household or home where no one has ever died in that household, I will bring your son back." Of course, the woman, a mother, says, "Yeah, they'll climb every mountain, they'll do whatever it takes, right, to bring your son back. Because then the Buddha can do it." She went around, most of you know the story. She went around the city, she came back. I wouldn't be surprised. She probably went to like 5 or 6 households and says, "No such thing. No such thing. Everybody has someone who passed, right? That's the earthly journey." So she came back and she became a disciple of the Buddha. She had inner peace because the Buddha taught by understanding. That's how he shows compassion. Let him go around and realize it's your two things. One, understanding of what's going on. And number two, It's your response to what's going on around. And when the woman realized that, she became mini awakened, like realization, that is part of life. And you basically have to change your perception of it and your reaction to it. Finished. So, in reality, let me do this again. We actually create our own misery. We do. We also create our own happiness. Because whether you're miserable or you're happy is dependent on are you living the outer life or the inner life. And if you live the inner life long enough, you look at the outer life simply as an extension, an expression of who you are. That you are a spirit yourself using this physical tool, this emotional tool, this mental tool to move around in this environment. That is the meaning, on one level, of being awake. For most people, they're asleep. So, how they live their life is purely dependent on circumstances. So, if everything's great, the economy is great, people love them, hey, they're in heaven. But if something doesn't go their way, their friends don't like them, or somebody criticized them, or they're not feeling good, their body got sick, they think the entire universe is exploding. That's called the human drama. I don't know about you. I love drama in the movies, not in my life. That's one of the biggest lessons my teacher taught me many years ago. And to put it all together, it's something like this. One time, listen to my words, my emotions was going to a roller coaster. I did not say I was going to a roller coaster. My emotions were. There's a difference. I didn't say, oh yeah, man, I was going through a tough time. No, I wasn't. My emotions were. My emotional body was going through a roller coaster. So I went to Master Cho. I said, Master, I need help. Yeah, my emotional body is going crazy. Can't focus, going crazy, emotionally, going through a lot of turmoil. He looks at me, he goes, go meditate. I'm going, all right, maybe he didn't get what I said. So I went back to him, Master, Master Cho, really going through a difficult time. My emotional body was going crazy, can't focus, can't sleep, and just all over the place. He looked at me, he goes, okay, go meditate. I'm going, what the heck? So I go, okay, maybe I'm not speaking this the right way. Anyway, to make a long story short, I did this like maybe 3 times. I said, but you don't understand. Finally, at that point, I go, my emotion is going crazy and it's affecting my ability to spread pranic healing and teach. And it's funny, I've somehow found the key words. He looked at me, he goes, okay, good, okay. Go meditate. I'm going, what the heck? But here's the difference. He didn't stop there. He said, go meditate. When the soul takes control over the body, the emotions, and the thoughts, especially the emotional body, this problem will go away. I'm going. And so, of course, I'm thinking, all right, that's what happened. I lost control over the emotional body. Interesting. Then I said, Master, could I get a blessing? Could I get a healing? You ask for help, right? I said, okay, turn around. And he blasted me with energy. And then he goes, go meditate. Now, that might sound funny to you, but at the time, it was tough. Because I was expecting, listen carefully, I know some of you might not like this. I was expecting, Master, I need help. I'm going through this stuff. I was expecting, it's okay. No worries. It's going to be fine. You just do this. No, he didn't babysit me. He didn't. I was expecting the father-son type, it's okay. Nope. Go meditate. Go, ah! But you see, he was teaching me a lesson. The lesson there is, it is your incorrect response to what's going on that's causing your misery. If you go meditate and realize who you are, and wake up to who you are again, that you are the spiritual self that is generating these feelings in response to whatever stuff you're going through, this problem will go away. Now, so that's part one. Part two is the blessing of the teacher. Now, somebody go, yeah, I'm not in that cult-like stuff of blessing the teacher. Let's talk about this before you guys go crazy over it, because I know some of you are anti-teacher, you're anti-establishment. Just listen. It's something like this. There's a saying. I think Osho said it. Only a person who's awake will know that someone is asleep. Write it down. I didn't come up with it. Osho, he had a bad rap. His name is Rajneesh. Okay, I forgot I think Swami Rajneesh. Yeah, from Oregon, many years ago. He's probably one of the most prolific spiritual teachers ever. But he had some stuff going on with the Rolls Royce and all that stuff. But at the heart of it, the teaching is he's pretty amazing. Anyway, he likes to shock people, right? So he said something like that. He said, only a person who's awake will know if someone is asleep. And he also said, I think him or somebody else said, when a person is asleep, they are not aware that they're asleep. So what the heck does that mean? So a student, a disciple, a chela in Sanskrit, is to a certain sense asleep to the true nature. So a teacher, not particular religion, but a spiritual teacher, is spiritually more awake to their nature than the student is. Everything's relative. Einstein, everything is relative, depending on the perspective, depending on a person's perspective. You know that, right? That's what we call the theory of relativity. One thing's going on, you perceive it this way, I perceive it this way, depending on where you are in your perspective. So it's relative to me, I perceive this, that person's observing the situation relative to them. That's called theory of relativity. Anyway, the special relativity and general relativity. That's for another time. So, from the student's viewpoint, they think they're awake, but they're only awake to what's going on physically, emotionally, mentally. They're asleep to their spiritual nature compared to the teacher. The teacher is more awake to their spiritual essence than the student. Of course, that teacher probably has a great teacher and so on and so on. It's a degree. It's not on and off. It's the matter of degree. So the teacher, being awake, realizes, hey, you're asleep. So in my case, what was going on is I was asleep to my spiritual nature, not because I'm not a person who does not do my meditation, but I allowed the environment and the circumstances to take so much more of my attention that I started being completely in my emotions, thoughts, and body, forgetting who I really am. So I, fell asleep to my true nature. So when I asked for help from the teacher said, go meditate. It's just like, wake up. Get the idea? So if you don't do your spiritual practice and meditation, you're like the general public. Get the idea? And then here's 2 ways to wake up. After this, we'll meditate. I know some people go, man, you talk too much. Well, you know my answer to that, right? Go find another teacher. Okay. Here's what happens. There's 2 ways to wake up. One way to wake up, which is the painless way, is to listen to your teachers. Some of them are in the form of preachers, some of them in the form of rabbis, whatever the religion. Religion is just a packaging. You so far? Religion is just a packaging. That's one way to wake up, is to go through some spiritual, religious practice, and somehow as you withdraw to your inner self, you do your prayer time, your meditation, your dream state, or whatever, and all that stuff, you go, oh, okay, everything's happening in the material world is outside. That's one way. That's the painless way. Would you like to know the second way? The second way is through tragedy. You go, what? I don't want that. When I say tragedy, what I meant is like something happens in your life, either big, small, or big, that causes you to be emotionally, mentally lose it, like, and then when you're done with at the tail end of that, when you feel so helpless, you feel so disempowered, like I don't have anywhere to turn. I don't know what else to do. Okay, I'll get on my knees, ask for help. Then at that point, watch this. You start to realize nothing that is tangible will soothe that pain. Then you realize you have to go beyond what is tangible to the intangible. And that's the part where you start to realize, oh, that intangible, that invisible world is actually my real world. And you start to have some inner peace, stillness. And some of you have a spiritual experience where an angel talks to you, a great teacher talks to you, your ancestors talk to you. All of those are essentially your soul's way of realizing its inner life. And once you get to that point, guess what happens? You start looking at your outer life completely differently. Completely differently? Sounds like a crazy English. Anyway, completely different. That's why you hear stories of people having near-death experiences. I was just, listening to one earlier, and I was watching a certain video, and I've seen some before where it's always the same script. It's like somebody scripted it. They're having this crazy life, and then they almost drowned, or they're in an accident, or they're in the hospital where they saw their body, they're floating above their body, looking at their body being operated on, and, brought back to life. And they came back with a completely different perspective. Sounds familiar? It's all same script. Same script. To do what? Wake up to your true life. This is probably one of the most important videos or lessons some of you need this lifetime. Because oftentimes we allow the external world to define for us to define as our real world, when in reality it's not. It's the artificial world. It's the created world. That's that. Very simple. So going back, if you don't do your prayer time, meditation time, if you don't spend time in your inner life, your outer life will come crashing down. You don't believe me? We'll talk to you again a few more lifetimes from now. And then you can tell me I was right. Not because I know everything, because two things. I learned it from my teacher, and I went through it, and it's just like, man, that's like hell on earth. And what changed it is not because the circumstances change. It did change too, it improved. And I'll talk about this a little bit, then we'll do our meditation. I've been saying that for 10 minutes now. But looking at it from the perspective of the self as the soul empowered me to be able to say, oh, this is what's going on. This is what I can change to change the effect. So there's no space, write this down, there's no room for victimhood. The cure for feeling like a victim is going back to who you are. You are a spiritual being of divine intelligence, so you can understand and see things clearly. You're a spiritual being of divine love, so you have the ability to love and forgive. You're a spiritual being of divine power, so you can do something about it. That's that. You want to summarize 1,000 spiritual books? I just gave it to you. Again, not because I'm brilliant, it's because I have a brilliant teacher. Now, let me leave you with one thought. I remember when I gave some recommendation to Tony Robbins' book, Life Force. Some of the comments I read, they like it, they don't like it. Some people think it's big pharma, this and that, or whatever. Anyway, it's called opinion. It's free, so people just spit it out. But something very interesting. There was a question which I think was a very genuine question that a lot of you probably, if you didn't think of, you probably maybe just considering it. Let me just make sure that this thing is working. Okay. One of the things that the question was, well, what's with, because he the thing with Tony, he was going through every latest technology in medicine and everything else to be able to have better health and extend your lifespan. Okay, everything from stem cells to whatever other type of technology. And I shared with you on the post that there's this molecule. It's called the wind path. It's a certain technology. I'm not going to go too much into it. You read the book, where it's just one molecule. They inject it twice a year. Within 1 year's time, your ligaments and tendons start to transform to that of like a 18-year-old. So your body could be like 60, 70, whatever. With this technology, there's a transformation that happens to your ligaments. It's like, could you imagine? To like the 18, 20-year-old. Mind-boggling, right? And so one of the comments was like, well, but isn't that your karma? That you're already destined? Aren't you messing with it? Like, you're not supposed to do that and whatever. Anyway, look, that's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Because some people say, yeah, you shouldn't mess with what God already prepared. So why are you putting earrings on? Your earrings don't have holes. Your ear don't have holes. Why did you pierce a hole there? You didn't have it before. So by piercing it, you're violating what God made. Here's another one. Well, you're supposed to live this much time, and so you shouldn't do with it because that's already destiny. Really? So how come you're trying to eat right? How come you're trying to exercise? How come you take vitamins? Because you're trying to increase the probability that your health will be better for a longer time. So if you stick to the fact that, well, it's all karma, everything this, you might as well just sit on your ass, don't do anything. And well, if I'm supposed to live this many years, I'll exist that long. I shouldn't try to eat because, I came in with no food. So for me to eat, I'm changing. This is how stupid that is. Some people think that way. Now, to make you feel better, because I know some of you are getting upset, so I'll get to the point. Let me just make sure this thing works. All right. Make it super simple for you. We'll cover this next month. It's not an infomercial. Okay, we'll cover this in Achieving Oneness. If you don't have the book, get a hold of the book. He talks about this. But I'll put it in plain English for you, okay? Or I know this is being translated in Portuguese and Spanish and everything else. Listen carefully. I know this is a long lecture, but it's an important one. The soul, the spiritual self, see my good buddy here? Okay. Imagine my entire body right now signifies or symbolizes the soul, the spiritual self. In order to learn lesson, the soul incarnates. Carne in Spanish, I know in Portuguese and other tradition, I'm not sure how it's said. Carne is meat. In is, in, out. Remember, you watch Sesame Street? Go in, go out. Okay. So the soul, in order to learn lessons, incarnates. Oh, cookie. So it enters, right? It goes into flesh. Now, watch. Before it goes in, the soul has a certain agenda. In this how many years, these are the lessons I want to learn. These are the connections I want to reestablish with other souls I've had with other times. Hear me out. So that's the plan. That's the flight plan, if you will. Okay? So that's the so-called destiny that the higher soul, the spiritual self, says, okay, this is my plan. When it enters the human world, this part of the hand is called the incarnated soul. the part of the soul or the lower soul, the part of the soul that is now shrouded or has a container. You so far? So this soul and this soul are one. It's just that this one is now, let's just say, influence a lot more with what's going on in the physical, emotional, mental world. You need so far. So guess what happens? The soul made a decision. These are the lessons I want to learn this lifetime. The incarnated soul, the lower soul that is now wearing a physical, emotional, mental bodysuits, is now interacting the world, and by influence, that data coming in also makes decisions. Now watch this. This soul says, okay, you're going to live 60 years. These are the lessons I have planned for you or for myself. And these are the connections I want to make with certain souls. Here is the screw up I did in certain lifetimes that I want to correct. Here are the people here are the souls I love in, wow, how many lifetimes ago in Egypt or Atlantis? And I want to reconnect with you. Whatever. All that is in there, right? As he goes through life, he will meet people, he'll make mistakes, he'll do this. Watch. This part of the soul also makes choices. So if 60 years is what the higher soul planned, but this part decided, I'm going to do healing, I'm going to make other people's lives better, I'm going to help people, and so on, so on, so on. So it generates good karma of health. So instead of 60 years, and also making good decisions with their health, it's now 80 years. Get the idea? Now, the other side is also true. The soul says, yeah, we're going to have 60 years. This is going to be health condition, blah, 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 what I said earlier. But the incarnated souls, for whatever reason, got sucked into bad company. And these people with bad intentions influence the incarnated soul in such a way, emotionally, physically, mentally, they got into crime. I'm making this simple. And started hurting people. Because of the negative karma, bad things happen. So instead of the 60 years that was planned by the higher soul, it got cut short by 40. So the higher soul make choices. That part of the soul that is enclosed also make choices. So I don't want to hear this. Okay, I don't want to say bad things, but let's just say uninformed stuff. People say, yeah, you shouldn't mess with God's plan. Well, if that's the case, just sit on your ass, don't do anything. Just go to sleep every day. If you're meant to make money, money will just fall on your head out of nowhere. Those are excuses of lazy people. You're a spiritual being, divine intelligence, love, and power. That's on the higher soul level. That's on the incarnate, the lower soul level. That power, that love, that intelligence is within. It's just a matter of you want to exercise it or not. So let's put everything together. Your outer life is basically the life of the lower soul, the incarnated soul, reacting to everything that's happening physically, emotionally, mentally outside. The inner life is the life, the higher soul, as it navigates through this incarnation. So the incarnated soul, the lower soul, as it decides to do more meditation, spiritual practice, get on some spiritual path, whether it be a religion or self-study or self-realization, whatever it is, starts to reconnect more and more of who they are. And so they start to realize, and I'll finish it with this. Man, this is a long lecture. I didn't expect it. Okay. Again, higher soul, incarnated or lower soul. As the incarnated soul decides to do more meditation, spiritual practice, it's temporary doing this. Then it starts to wake up to go, oh, I'm not this. I'm not the body, the feelings, the thoughts, the obsession with cookie. That's not me. And start to realize, oh, this, imagine from this perspective, realize I'm actually part of a bigger whole. That's where it realizes there's only one life, not two. That's when they're awake. But just like our everyday life, your body goes to sleep, your body wakes up, right? So when you're in your meditation spiritual practice, you're awake. That's why a lot of you go, wow, I see things differently. I'm flying. I'm experiencing the high worlds. I'm expansive. I'm whatever, infinite. I say, come back to your body, go, meow. That's when you feel like constricted. That's when you go, right? At that point, you start to understand, okay, that's my outer life that I have to live to learn lessons and get through in this incarnation. So that part of you that is awake, the one that the real life, not the artificial one, at some point when the soul starts getting too engrossed with their outer life, they temporarily fall asleep to their inner life. Just like at night, your body falls asleep, in the morning it wakes up. So most people, they're usually asleep, but let's say they have a spiritual realization. Great. Then what happens? Life happens, and so they get sucked into this physical, emotional, mental turmoil again, and then something explodes in their life. Oh, I gotta go back to that meditation practice again. I gotta go back to church. I have to go back to synagogue, to mosque, to whatever your practice is. Then, okay, I'm back. And the drama continues again. And before you know it, they fell asleep. Get the idea? Here's the difference. That's why ritual is so important. A ritual is something you do consistently, regardless of what's going on outside. Like, you don't only exercise when you feel like your body's weak. You don't only eat when your body's hungry. There is a schedule that you do it consistently. So as you keep doing your meditation and spiritual practice, you're staying awake to who you are. And the longer you do that meditation consistently, the more you stay awake spiritually and living that real life as the spiritual self. And you start noticing you don't give into drama. You're able to control what's going on to a certain extent, your response to it. And the outer life and the inner life, the two lives, are now one consistently. That's that. So I hope you have a better understanding of your two lives. In reality, one is an artificial one. It's a constructed one. For most people, they live in that constructed life. In your case, if you're listening and you're practicing, you will realize that everything else is nothing more than a fabricated reality. Now, I don't want you guys to go crazy because some people, they take this direction, yeah, nothing is real, everything is illusion. Again, think of Einstein. It's relative to the perception. Because I know people, they go nuts. I mean, I really read this in some of the comments. You go, yeah, everything's an illusion. My family's an illusion. Work is an illusion. So I shouldn't do anything because it's just illusion. You distorted the teachings. This is, oops, that's a real cup. Okay? It's not an illusion. It's real in this perspective. Here, don't be going nuts because I've seen people. Anyway, I want to show the frustration my emotional body has when I deal with these people. It's like, come on, no wonder your life is a mess. You're using spirituality as an escape. So, let's do a short meditation because I went way over time in this discussion. That wasn't the plan. And one of you asked me yesterday, did you sit down and plan out what you're going to say and have a big, long list of... No. I usually pick a topic that I've meditated on, and then I press stream, and then whatever comes out. So I hope you learned something. Shall we? To the Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother, to all the spiritual elders, Holy Masters, Saints, Archangels, Holy Angels, spiritual helpers. Personally, to my teacher, Master Tokok Sui Mahaguji Mailing, we thank you for divine light, love, guidance, wisdom, help, and protection. Let's add this in. This is part of the Arhatic Yoga practice, not this one, but I'll share it with you. You just say, to my higher soul, To my divine self, thank you for your blessings, your love, and your cooperation. In full faith, so it is. Now, for some of you who are over analytical, not just analytical, but over analytical, here's what you just did. The hand, the lower soul, is saying to the big guy, okay, thank you for your cooperation and love and all that. What it does, it's trying to reestablish a clear communication with the higher self, even when it's still shrouded in this guy. Okay? Now, I'm going to make the meditation shorter because we went way over time in the lecture. I apologize. That was not the plan. I was supposed to just give you an insight here, here, and there, and then me and my big fat mouth start yakking, yakking, yakking. Okay, let me just make sure this thing's working. All right. Now, you ready? We'll make it up by special sauce. Okay, close your eyes. Be aware of your crown. Just your crown, nothing else. Be aware of your crown. Just put your attention on your crown, nothing else. Just the top of your head, just your crown. I am that I am. I'm not this body. I'm not any of these emotions. I'm not any of these thoughts. This body, these emotions and thoughts are just my instruments. They are real. They're real tools in my toolbox. I use them, but they're not me. Just like a carpenter uses a hammer, a chisel, and other tools, these are just my tools. I am the mover of this body, creator of these feelings, creator of these thoughts. That's the real I. Now just be still. Just gently meditate on those words as you put your attention very gently on the top of your head, on your crown. Just take your time. Just put your attention gently on your crown. I am that. It's just like saying, I'm that being that is using the body, the emotions, and the thoughts. That's the real I. Just stay there. If any thoughts, any emotions come up, just observe and know that these thoughts and feelings are just simply something you created and you're just watching like clouds in the sky. Just observe. I am that. I am that being that is creating these thoughts, these feelings, and these movements of this body. That's the real I. Just maintain your stillness. Just keep observing. I am that. Now allow your awareness to just be free and just drift higher, higher towards the ceiling. Just let it drift on its own. Just like when you let go of a balloon, it just does what it does. You don't tell it what to do. Same thing. You just observe and just let it drift on its own. Just let it drift on its own. I am that bigger I am. I'm one. I'm connected in one with the bigger and higher I am. I'm one with my higher soul. Never been separated. They've always been one. But now I realize it. I acknowledge it. I affirm I am one. Always been one. Eternally. With my higher soul. I am that. That I am. Be still. Just give you some energy. Just keep meditating of who you are. Just say, I am that. So which is Sanskrit for I am that, which is with special juice. So so be still. Just be still, be receptive. We'll pour more special sauce. Just be receptive. Atma, wake up. Atma, wake up. Atma, wake up. gently, very slowly, very gently and slowly come back to your physical body. Move your fingers, move your toes. Very gently slide back to your physical form. Take your time. Raise your hands. We always do this after meditation. You generate a lot of spiritual energy. You want to share it with the people you love. So imagine the people you love in your life. Fill them with beautiful golden light. May all of them be blessed with good health, with happiness, with abundance and prosperity, and with spirituality. So be it. Keep flooding the people you love with this beautiful golden light, especially the people who are going through challenging times in their life. Fill them with the golden light. Blessings be to all. So be it. Now, to ground you, because a lot of you have to go back to work, be aware of your feet and the base of your spine. Put your golden light downwards. Let our beloved Mother Earth be blessed with divine light, divine love, and divine power. Let our beloved Mother Earth be healed, regenerated, and revitalized. Blessings be to all. Blessings be to Mother Earth. So be it. Let's give thanks to the Divine Supreme God, Divine Father, Mother. Thank you. To all the spiritual elders, holy masters, saints, archangels, holy angels, and spiritual helpers. Eternally, to my beloved teacher, Master Tokok Sui Mahagu Jimeli, thank you for your blessings, your wisdom, help, and especially patience. Thank you in full faith. So it is. All right. That was not the plan, but I guess they had a bigger plan. Whoa, that's a long segment. I hope you got something out of it. I think, in my humble opinion, if I'm sitting where you are, I think this lesson here is something that we need to keep reminding ourselves over and over and over. Okay? And I think that's it. Just a few announcements. Coming back tonight, or second session in 7 hours and 4 minutes. For Anchor Light 2, if you can handle more. And somebody just asked, how come we're giving this for free? Well, you decide the value that we give you. You want to donate, you can go to panic.org. There's a donation. Give if you like. If you don't want to give, I'll just keep doing this anyway. Because it's my dharma, my job. And I'll just show this very quickly. Again, next weekend is Inner Buddhism Teachings Revealed. And the class is still, the free one is still online, just in case you don't have a US address. All right, just to let you know that's available for free. You learn something out of it, and then you look for the class in your area. And then tomorrow night is tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow we're having Prosperity Zen Q&A. If you're part of it already, all you got to do is log into your account. If you're not part of it, you still can sign up. You can do a 4-week or 9-week program where we go in and just keep excavating your old poverty consciousness thoughts and emotions and so on and so on. Anyway, everything's there. So thank you very much for allowing me to serve you. I know we went way over time. My sincere apologies. I didn't expect this. I thought it's going to be a short one. But when the spirit moves, we move mouth. Okay, namaste. You all take care. And we will see you in 7 hours and 3 minutes. That was a long one. God bless. Take care. Thank you.